So welcome back. Those were heavy tire chains. Welcome back. It is a beautiful, what is it, Wednesday morning on the homestead. About 16 degrees. And man, we got a lot of stuff to do today. We got, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm going to show you a trick to putting tire chains on that is really slick, that was taught to me by one of the smartest guys I know. I'm going to tell you a story a little bit later about the toughest guy I ever knew relating to tire chains, and lots of stuff going on. So let's just get started. It's going to be a day on the homestead. So let's get these chains all laid out here. Now this is interesting. So front tire chain, obviously rear tire chain here, which the rear tires are much bigger. Speaking of rear tires, let's see who's smart. I got these upside down, that wasn't very smart. Why are the tractor tires on the back of a traditional tractor, why are they bigger than the tires on the front? See if you know that. Put your answer in the comments. Now this is really interesting here. If you look up close, let me bring you up close here. Now this is really nice here. This is the proper way to do this, like they do in the logging industry. So because the drive wheels on the back are so powerful that you put all that strain, all that power and torque on a tractor on one crossbar, these are called the crossbars here, chances are you're going to break it. So by mating these two together with these two links, you're doubling the strength of your chain. That was whoever built these, they really knew what they were doing. That's nicely done, very nicely done. I like to see that. Sometimes these things like this make me marvel. Here we are in 2016 with all of our technological advancements. It's just amazing how the knowledge of man has increased. And yet, when we have to work in a situation on a slippery road, what do we resort to? Chains. We haven't figured out a better way to do it than that. Is tire chains. I mean, what is this? 200-year-old, 300, 500-year-old technology? Is long time, but it works. It definitely works. So we'll take a little detour here. After 20 years, my Spencer loggers tape finally gave up the ghost. I had to break down and get a new one. Man, there's nothing like it. There's some things in life that give you pleasure. Man, this is one of them. And it is just not quintessential Pacific Northwest logger. These are the finest tapes in the whole world. When I was excavating back in the day and working in mud and all the time and needed a tape to measure pipes and things, we'd go through the Stanleys. They'd last a few days. These, this last forever. Open construction, so everything falls out, mud, dirt, bark chips and all of that, all aluminum, so nothing to corrode. 50 feet. Look at can you see that? Look at the graphic up on there. You got the Oregon logger, the original loggers tape. So these are great. So use these for measuring logs, when you're cutting everything to length. So one thing that's traditionally done, I thought I'd share with you because it's kind of interesting, is that obviously, if you don't have someone there to hold the other end, this tape doesn't work very well. So what we've done in the past, goes back a long time, is use a horseshoe nail and bend it in a way that it stays on here, and then you can stick it in the log. So I'll show you how to do that right now. So this is just just your standard garden variety horseshoe nail. You can see there. They're cool, aren't they? So what I typically do is just kind of figure about halfway. Find the halfway point right there and tighten that up in your jaws of your vise. All right, make sure you square. Bend that over like that. And then figure about halfway again. We'll kind of grab it here in the corner. somewhere in there. So you kind of got that shape going on right there. And then we should be able to just kind of knock it down the rest of the way. Didn't quite get it far enough there. Now before you close it, take the end of your tape and stick it through here, right there. Now we can close it the rest of the way, like that. And then straighten it up just a little bit because I bent it out of shape there. I never had so much trouble doing that before until I had the camera running. Okay, there we go. That's what we want though. So it hangs around the edge. So what this gives you is it gives you the ability, now you've got a place there where you can push this into the wood. So when you're going to measure the length of a log or something, you got your log here right there, you've got a nice flat surface, you push that in there, it's nice and sharp, and that holds your tape. When you get to the other end, you just give it a yank, and then it comes loose. The other thing is there's a little rubber snubber deal right here, a little kind of a guard, and you can, I guess you could kind of, what I'll do is I'll use that right there to kind of, if I'm having it up, because you wear this on your waist belt, on your follower's belt, I'll stick that in there like that to keep that edge from jabbing me, because that will poke you. And don't let this, when this is reeling back in, when you're bringing it back into you, make sure you control the speed, because man, this thing will come back here and it'll nail you every time, right on the point. Won't hit on the flat spot, but will hit on the point every time. Man, that is nice. So I'm going to show you that super trick I was telling you about, my super smart friend Tony. Now this really works good if you're in a situation where you're taking your chains off and on a lot. He works for the fire department, and you know how it is. They're always on and off, and he came up with this years ago, and it's brilliant. I haven't done it yet, but I've been meaning to, so we're going to do it together. So I've got, what I got here, I got a piece of scrap. It's 8 inches by 3 inches, so let's say you 4x6. 4x6, 4x4 would work for a passenger car, and I'm just going to cut this in half. So this is 53, so 25, 26 and a half, 26 and a half, and we'll cut it in half, and then I'll show you what to do with it. So about 2 pieces, I'd say 16 inches long should be plenty. Now for the layout, everything's going to come clear here in a minute. Now your chains are going to be a little different than mine because you're most likely not going to have these linked together like this, right? So if you're just doing a single chain, you can just do the width of 2 chains on here. Everything's going to become apparent or obvious here in just a minute. So right here, I'm going to measure the width of this. These 2 chains laid in there. So if that was 6 inches wide, that'd be enough. Now if you're just doing normal chains, looks like 1.5 inches, or 2 inches would be enough for the notch. 1 inch would be enough. Those chains are just not that thick, so we'll chisel out 1 inch. So we'll set our depth to that. Right there. You could do this by hand too if you don't have a power saw. Right there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to cut an angle on there so that we can drive up on it. Because I like to cut them nice and long so they don't push out on you. You know, when you're going up against it, it doesn't keep the tire pushing out of the way. So chainsaw makes pretty short work of that. Oh man, I should have held up a little bit. That's not a very good cut. Neither one of those is very good. I have kind of at a bad angle there. But I'm in a hurry. My neighbor needs plowed out and I need to get these on, so I want to do this quickly. So I've got these cut here, so you can do it. You can take your chisel, knock them out, or you can just do these whole things with a chainsaw. Like I'll show you. I'll just clean it out here real quick. Don't hate this. I told you this is quick and dirty. If that's all you had was a chainsaw, you know, you can do it. So I promised you a story time. I'll tell you about the toughest guy I ever knew. So I was probably, I don't know, maybe 18, 19, family elk hunting camp, Eastern Oregon. So we used to go elk hunting, the whole family. This was before you had to draw special tags. If you wanted to hunt Eastern Oregon, you could hunt Eastern Oregon. You didn't have to, you know, it wasn't the lottery system like there is now. So we had all the family went, you know, all the men. The women came with us when we went deer hunting, but not elk hunting. It was later in the year and a lot colder and just pretty rugged, living in wall tents and all that. We'd go for 2 weeks. I remember we got up opening morning and it was so cold, it was like 18 below zero. Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, get everything around. So we're huddled around, a bunch of guys my age, we're huddled around this fire. Freezing. I mean, every piece of clothing that we own. And here comes the toughest guy I ever knew. He was probably in his mid-60s by then. Maybe probably late 60s. Merle was his name. He was a good friend of my grandfather. And he was built like a brick house. He was just, you know, the type of guy who could grab an anvil by the horn and, you know, pick it up, carry it around. So here he come, 18, 20 degrees below zero. He's wearing a t-shirt, like just a regular cotton t-shirt, V-neck, with a flannel shirt that he's got the sleeves cut off, like kind of like a vest, open, like a Pendleton shirt, and he's got chains in his hands, like here, he's gonna go chain up his truck. He's got those big heavy logging chains, one in each hand, and he comes up to the fire. It's 18 below, no gloves on. I told you what he was wearing, holding those chains in that temperature. And I saw that, I thought, good grief. Guys, that's pretty tough. You wouldn't catch me holding those chains without some big old gloves on. He walks up there, not even very close to the fire, not enough to close enough to benefit from its heat. And he chatted with us, I'll bet, for 20 minutes, holding those chains the whole time. And I just sat there and I just marveled watching him. And after maybe it was 15 minutes, who knows? It was a long time. It was a long, long time. He goes over to his truck and there he puts all those on and barehanded, 18 below zero. I mean, I got all sorts of stories I could tell you about those guys, but I'll tell you what. All right, there you go. You see where we're going here? So now we'll back up the tractor up on these, go across here, and what this does is it gives us the ability to get our chains tight the first time without readjusting them, because the tractor's going to sit up here, we can pull everything tight, get them right the first time. So I'll just we'll back up here a little closer, we'll pull up on here and we'll see how it works. How about that? Boy, that is nice. Big heavy chains like this. Boy, that makes all the difference. So tell Tony thank you for this. All right, I think I got everything as tight as I can get it. I got 3 links in on the back. If I could get that here, that would be really nice. They fit really well. They're not, you know, so sometimes you'll see the cam locks on chains. You know, where you have the T on there. People like those. You know what the truth of the matter is with those things? Is that they put those on there so they can make the chains more universal. They can fit more tires, you know, so retailers and tire stores and stuff don't have to carry so many. I mean, that's the truth of the matter there. When you have chains that are built specifically for the tires, you don't. I might be a little bit greedy with this. I'd really like to get one more that third link on there. Oh, I think I got it. It's a matter of time now. This is surprisingly easy. I don't think this would be near so fun without those blocks. These are like playing with toys compared to those back ones. So when you're doing chains, a couple things to look for. Make sure that you have these crossbars. See how these are bent? You have these unfinished edges right there. Make sure those are on the outside of the tire, not against the sidewall, because that can wear, you damage your tire. It can wear a hole in the sidewall, so you always want those out. And this is pretty much a universal style of mounting clip. It's just real simple. It worked for years. This little triangle with a slot on it. You can see there, and they'll give you a few extra chains there. Get as many as you can, get them as tight as you can, and then you'll see how that locks on there, and that'll never come out. Next thing is go drive it a little bit. Drive it slow, out of some stone, some hard pack stuff. Come back and see if you can't tighten it up a little bit, and then you won't have any problem with your chains. So one last piece of advice I might give you if you have things that are where clearances are kind of tight is this last bit that's hanging out here. You'd be well advised to wire that up with a piece of baling wire or some sort of a wire. Zip ties are not to be trusted. They're just not durable enough. But like little scraps electrical wire like this 12-2 here, it's pretty heavy stuff, and you get 3 pieces right there, and just wire that up. Just take it there and just keeps it. What happens is it'll flop around on you, and it'll tear something up. You can, if there's something to hook on, it'll hook a grease cert or a piece of body work or whatever. But spin that back. Just take a minute and do that. Not super important on the outside if you got lots of clearance, but on the inside, definitely do it. A 20-minute video. Boy, some of you are going to be happy about that, and some of you are going to be mad. Hard to please, certainly hard to please everyone, but I do have some good news that I think will please most of you. So remember my neighbor Jeff? Remember Jeff? Jeff with the Biodome? So he just started a YouTube channel. Now he's working on his first videos. He's actually coming over here this afternoon. I'm going to help him, show him a few things on editing to get his first video up, kind of an introduction. And then when he gets all that up and we get it all squared away for him, shouldn't take but a day or two, I will make the announcement and send you guys over there or tell you where it's at. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to it. I was just looking, he kind of uploaded some things privately and we were sharing and just kind of going back and forth. He's actually really good at it. He is, what's so nice about it, there's a lot of folks on YouTube that are, maybe not everything is as it seems online. But you're going to get the real deal with Jeff. What you see, he is a very kind, gracious, he's just a great man. And he just is exactly as he comes across in the camera. I think he's going to be really good at it. So hang on, just a few more days, or just I'll tell you as soon as I can. So what's going on? Well, I think we're out of time. That's probably enough. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
And nothing can keep us apart. I walk through walls into your heart. I don't mind.